good evening, and welcome back to the channel. This is your boy Brogi Naric, here to give a review on Marvel's special presentation, Werewolf by Night, a new movie straight to Disney Plus, talking about the famed super character Jack Russell, aka the Werewolf by Night. Now, this will be mostly non-spoiler. I might give a few spoilers, a little bit, but I'm not going to go too far into it. This was a Marvel project that was one of the most randomest when it was originally announced. Probably, was it during COVID when they announced this? Or maybe it was at that Comic-Con in 2019 where it was talked about. It was just like, yeah, we're doing Werewolf by Night. And I'm like, why? That's strange. Like, why, what, of all characters, like, why are we doing this? It seems so random. You know, we didn't know if it was going to be a series. We didn't know if it was going to be a movie. But it was this new thing they're doing, special presentation. And it's essentially just a mini movie, which I think is a good step forward for future projects going forward. I came in with no heavy expectations, although that trailer that they dropped at D23, or was it Comic-Con? I think it was D23. They dropped the trailer. I thought it was really good. I thought it was very unique. It had a visual style. It had a visual flair. It looked different. It didn't look quite as cookie cutter as some of the other things we've seen coming out of Phase 4. Even though I don't hate Phase 4, like I guess most of the internet seems to claim that they hate Phase 4. But anyway, I was curious. You know, I was excited, and I have to say, after watching the Werewolf by Night special presentation, surprisingly good, because the director, this was directed by Michael Giacchino, who is like, I think he's the top composer in Hollywood. He does a lot of big budget movies throughout the years, throughout the decades. Apparently he wants to direct as well, and this is his third project. He's his first, I guess, sort of feature length. It's not quite feature length. This thing's kind of short. It's under an hour, about 40, 45 minutes. He's directed 2 shorts previously, but I have to say, I was a little worried about it, but man, he came through with this. It focuses on this group of monster hunters. They're coming together because the patriarch of this, the leader of this group, Ulysses Bloodstone, has died. He has this powerful item called the Bloodstone that he's used throughout decades, and maybe centuries, but decades, to fight monsters. It's going to be passed to one of these hunters. It's worthy enough. They're going to be put in this sort of labyrinth. There's a monster in there that has the Bloodstone attached to it, and whoever kills the monster receives the Bloodstone, and then they will be the new leader of this monster group. And our lead character, Jack Russell, is there essentially undercover for a certain reason in order to infiltrate this meeting. This is a horror. It's horror vibes. This is not scary. Nothing in this is scary unless you're, I don't know, maybe 4. Maybe 4. Werewolf by Night is very much in the vein of the classic Universal monster movies, some of the Hammer horror, British horror films from like the 70s and stuff. It's got that. It's not gory, but this is probably the most intense we've seen in a MCU project since Captain America: The Winter Soldier, which had fairly intense action sequences. This one, you do get blood, and it's very much the old WWE sort of method where everything's in black and white, so you can get away with more blood. So there is blood, but it's in black and white. There is decapitations. There's some somewhat gruesome deaths. You know, like I said, more than you would see in a standard MCU film. Nothing necessarily rated R, I don't think, but it's very edgy PG-13, and I appreciated that. I like that. I want to see them go further. This is another step that can convince me that if they're willing, if Disney is willing, they can really do good mature rated content similar to what we got with the Netflix series. So hopefully this is another step in the right direction for projects like Echo, Daredevil, even the Blade film. Now, the cast of this feature film I thought was really great. We have Gael Garcia Bernal, who I'm not familiar with. He plays our lead, Jack Russell, aka the Werewolf. He's really good in this. I would say in a way he is very MCU. You know, he's not quite aware of what's going on. He's like a regular guy in this weird situation. But he does bring in the drama towards the end of this thing where we see the turmoil that he goes through with the whole werewolf thing. He's the lead, and then like a female lead who's sort of the main character initially is the character of Elsa Bloodstone, played by Laura Donnelly, who is another actress I'm not familiar with, but she does a very good job as this popular character. Elsa Bloodstone is the daughter of Ulysses Bloodstone, who's the guy who's dead, who's throwing this whole event for his idol. And apparently she's been gone for a while and she's coming back and she feels like it's her birthright, but her stepmother, who's played by Harriet Sansom Harris, she's the one who's in control of who's going to get the Bloodstone, and she doesn't feel like Elsa deserves it because she's abandoned her father for so long. So it's all fair game for everybody to win this thing. And she does very well. She's very good in the action sequences and some of the dramatic sequences when she needs to be scared or confused, and a couple of the comedy sequences in this. Elsa Bloodstone is essentially like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She's a monster hunter. Her dad was a famous monster hunter, and she has the Bloodstone, which gives her extra abilities, basically like super strength, a healing factor, enhanced agility, and all of that. But it also can help her track down monsters and sort of repel them, and some other things that they established in this series. So she's a fun character. The other, I guess, main character I could talk about, I don't want to give it away, but it's Man-Thing. The character Man-Thing, if you're not familiar with Man-Thing, he's a big hulking green sort of swamp-looking monster, similar to Swamp Thing, but different. Swamp Thing was created first, but both of them are based off of this old character called the Heap. But Swamp Thing is, not damn it, Man-Thing is usually like, from what I remember, because I haven't really read many comics with this character. I haven't really read many comics with Werewolf by Night either. But Man-Thing, I believe, is like a protector of like this, I think it's the Nexus, or I may be wrong, but he's like the protector of this very important area, and he's not really like an plant elemental or anything. That's not quite his deal. That's more of a Swamp Thing thing. But he was good. The special effects on him was very good. I guess the acting and interactions with the Swamp Thing was very good, and he stood out. He looked very unique. The other hunters in this, they're not, as far as I know, they're not based off of comic book characters, but they all played their parts very well. For the most part, when they had their screen time, them doing their action sequences, them looking unique and looking weird, I thought they did great. And there was another character, he's like this old guy that's like a servant or whatever. He was funny too. But I like the vibes. The vibes in this are great. It's very slow-paced at times. It sets the mood. I don't think Michael Giacchino was in control of the music, but I'm pretty sure he helped influence it. It felt very old school, the way it was shot, some of the lighting that we did get with the cinematography. There's moments where a lot of the horror or the gruesomeness is left off screen, but you see the shadows kind of giving you a version of like what's happening. Like when he finally transforms into the werewolf, it's more of what's happening in the shadows, and people's reactions to it is what's going to give it to you, as opposed to actually seeing all of it. But when we do see Jack Russell in his wolf mode, I was happy to see that it was a practical suit. They definitely gave him a practical suit. It's very classic Lon Chaney Jr. Wolfman with a little bit of the Benicio del Toro Wolfman sort of vibes. It looks dope. It looks really dope. When you do kind of get good glimpses of him as the Wolfman. Werewolf by Night, really dope. I think this is one of the shining gems, not just of Phase 4, but also just the MCU in general. Is very unique, and I like it when Marvel tries to be different. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I like that they're really starting to be a little more unique and different, and hopefully they'll keep that going to stay fresh. If I was to give Werewolf by Night a grade, I'd give it B+, 8.5 out of 10. Really solid, really good stuff. Like I said, I wish it was a little bit longer. I would have preferred a little more horror, a little more gruesomeness, but what we got, it was good. For Disney, for the MCU, this is a step, like I said, a step in the right direction. Laura Donnelly as Elsa Bloodstone, I want to see what they do with her character later on. With most of these characters, her, Swamp Thing, and Werewolf by Night. I think this was enough. It gives you enough to want more. And I think this is going to be a new step for the MCU. The MCU has done the Disney Plus series method to various levels of degree. We see the formula. The 6 episodes is not working. It's not working. And then when they do stretch it out a little bit, sometimes it's not paced as well. Certain series feel more like movies that have been stretched to 6 hours. But if they have a good idea and they can shorten it to an hour, I wish it was a little bit longer. That would be my biggest complaint. I wish it was an hour instead of like 40, 45 minutes. Something like this, I feel like would have benefited shows like Miss Marvel. I think would have definitely would have benefited Moon Knight. If Moon Knight was like a hour-long presentation as opposed to 6 episodes, I think that would have been better. I think this could have also benefited Hawkeye too, now that I think about it. I think that would have been another show that would have benefited from this. special presentations, I think is possibly going to be the way to go. But definitely worth your time. It's not, like I said, not too long to watch, so check it out for now or the holiday season. Watch it with the lights out and just get immersed in this world. It's really good. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Werewolf by Night. Let me know what you thought about the Marvel special presentation in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and share it and subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more videos. Peace.